You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 13th meeting of the Michigan City Water Works Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call this meeting of the Water Board to order. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. Approval of minutes from the meeting of July 23rd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held July 23rd, 2024. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting of July 23rd. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Purchase of.
Alright. Attached, we have 18 purchase orders, and there's quite a few. There wouldn't have been so many, but I'll explain some of those later. The first one is to AED USA. These are defibrillators with cases to place defibrillators in all three of our buildings, and also put a couple on some trucks where we have crews that are going to exert a lot of energy and stuff, so that so we'll have 12 of them for $16,250.
Yikes.
Next one is transportation supply. These are message boards. We had 2 message boards in our business plan, and these are $40,472. These are the kind that get pulled up to a construction site and tell people to go one way or the other, or that there's a lane closed, that kind of thing. The third one is to McCann. This is a rental rate for a backhoe, $517.50. We had to send one of our backhoes in for repairs, and with all the activity, construction activity, we needed to get a rental in. We couldn't go without. The next item is to Digital Graphics Solutions. This is graphics for Truck 21. That's the truck we just purchased a couple weeks ago. And then number 5 is also for Truck 21. It's to Custom Fits inverter and lights. Most of the lights are on that truck, but there's a few others that we need to add for $5,819.86. So even with those 2 additional purchases, we're still well below what the plan was for one truck, and I'm working on getting a second truck. So. The next item is to Reith Riley, US 20 Hitchcock Street Patch Work. So on the, we had a major main break, and we did not have any pricing prior to because it happened right before the last meeting. We didn't have any pricing for the repairs. Basically, the main break was the result of the fire service being exercised without notification and blew apart a main because they were turning it on and off, on and off, on and off. So now that we have this, we're going to be sending a bill because they're supposed to notify us. We'll see if we get anything out of it. But this NDOT required a certain amount of repair work, and this is to meet NDOT's requirements. So it was $47,250. I needed to tell the contractor to get a move on so that we could get on the schedule. As it is right now, it hasn't been done yet. But we're supposed to be, my understanding is it should be next week. We're waiting for final confirmation on that. Reith Riley's busy. The next item is to Cable and Rentals. This is lift rental for a week. It's one of those tow-behind lifts so we could do some elevated work that we needed to do. There's a couple items that need to be done right away, so we went ahead and got it in, and so it's $987. The next one is to McCann. This is a 500-hour service on the backhoe, and then also air conditioning, condenser, and it also had a hydraulic leak. This is for backhoe number 2. This is why we needed the rental. and that was for $4,140.87. Number 9, this is to, and these next four were all Ferguson, they're all for Woodland Ridge. We ended up needing some additional supplies for the project, and we couldn't stop and wait. We had to get the parts in so we could keep going. So the first is to Ferguson for gaskets for Woodland Ridge. They were for confirming for $2,900. The next is to Ferguson for dual sleeves for Woodland Ridge, confirming for $3,570. The next is to Ferguson Megalugs for Woodland Ridge for $3,030.44. And the last one is gaskets, a different type of gasket than the first line of gaskets for $1,150. Basically where we're at right now is we're actually in the process of starting to do some testing on that water main so that so they can come in and they can start doing their paving. And so hopefully they'll be able to get their work done now too. The next item is to Leaps for 1-inch copper. This is for stock for $10,048.60. The next item is to Swan Analytical. This is a chlorine analyzer reagents for $2,955. The next is Midwest Meter tailpieces and gaskets for stock. This is for installing meters, $2,465. The next is to Ferguson 6-foot Berry hydrants for stock, $33,059.78. The next one is to Utility Supply. This is missing parts for tap machine for $1,432. We rented a tap machine from Utility Supply while we were waiting for a new one, and apparently there were parts that were not returned, and so they've sent us a bill for those. We could not find these parts, so we don't know exactly what's going on there. We've searched for it, and I just found out about it. Just found out that we were looking for those. The next one is to Ferguson. This is Macro brand extended range couplings for $1,370. And those are for stock.
All right, any questions on the purchase orders?
I'll make a motion to accept the list of purchase orders dated 8/13/2024 for the amount of $178,892.05.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the list of purchase orders dated August 13th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Claims.
I make a motion to approve the list of claims dated August 13, 2024.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second that we approve the claims as of August 13th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bad debt.
Make a motion to accept the bad debt list dated August 13th, 2024 for bookkeeping purposes only.
Second.
Motion and second that we approve the bad debt list as of August 13th for bookkeeping purposes only. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, welcome back, Chris.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Just go through page 2 on our cash flow real quick. We took in $621,763 for the month. Actually didn't have any bad debt recoveries for May. We spent $508,793 in disbursements, not counting our transfers. Inventory items for $48,836. and capital expenditures were $43,291. Left us with an ending balance for the month of $163,965. Go to page 3. It's a pretty uneventful month. We had decent residential and commercial sales compared to our forecast, and we also had a resale sales over forecast. The net income for the month before depreciation, we actually made net income $148,659, and still made a net income after depreciation of $24,659. And just for the year to date, we had a net income of $133,134 before depreciation. And our net loss for year to date after depreciation is $486,866. There was really nothing out of line on page 4. Our miscellaneous item was a little bit high, but we had a CDL school we paid for one employee that was in there. Everything else was below forecast. Actually, that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
All right, any questions for Chris?
Nope.
Anyone like to make a motion to
I'll make a motion to accept the financial from Chris, dated, I think the financial statement for the period of May 31st, 2024 is what it is?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that.
I'll second.
motion and second, we approve the financials as presented dated May 31st. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Pay rate requests.
I sent out in your packets requests to set a couple of pay rates. First is concerning the distribution construction supervisor. When we modified the structure over in the distribution department, we elevated the service records GIS administrative employee to the customer service and inventory supervisor, and then we were still going to hire a construction supervisor to basically go out and deal with a lot of the construction projects. So there were a few candidates in mind, but I did receive a surprise. Our current draftsman, Daryl Wright, has expressed interest in the position with his years of experience and as far as monitoring and dealing with water main installation and service line installation, that sort of thing. I think that he's done a good job so far in giving the guys direction on things. He expressed an interest in the position. So what I'd like to request of the board, currently he's at the rate of $27.42. With his extensive knowledge of construction activities, I'd like to request setting the pay rate at $28.42 per hour. This is a non-exempt position regarding overtime. So if he does have to work past 40 hours, he will get overtime, just like the other supervisor position. He will be required to obtain his DSL certification from IDEM, as is the rest of the distribution management team. And importance to note, I will not be requesting to hire another draftsman to replace him in the organizational chart. So it'll be a change in organizational chart, reducing us down to one draftsman. The other item is, as of July 29th, our customer service cashier position opened. The employee left us for another employer. So as it is, we've advertised this position on ZipRecruiter and have received many promising resumes, and we have had a couple interviews already, and we plan to have a few more before we decide on somebody specific. To keep the process moving, I'd like the board to authorize a starting pay rate of up to $23 per hour, which would be based on experience. Then, assuming the selected candidate accepts that offer, then I would bring it back. We could move through the process of hiring, and then I would bring it back to the board just so it's documented for the State Board of Accounts requirements for that audit process. So then at this point, depending on what the pleasure is of the board, we can vote for one, we can vote for both, or we can vote for neither.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the committee, the directors?
I'm fine with both.
I'm fine with both.
All right, would you like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion for the distributor, is it the distribution construction supervisor? And the customer service cashier.
I'll second it.
Motion is second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the pay rates as proposed. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
All right, the main extension to serve Kiefer Road.
Yeah, 4028 North County Road, 900 West, also Woodland. There's a company, a filter manufacturer down near the corner of 400 North, Kiefer and Woodland, and they've expressed interest in getting water. And in conversations with the county, they seem to have some interest out of the Franciscan facilities that are there too, of getting water from us, because currently they're all in wells, so they have a lot of testing and stuff that they have to do as a result of that. So we had quoted this previously, and let's see, I think I had 2021, I believe, is when we quoted it last. And of course, since then, we've had the activity on Woodland Ridge, where there's a water main in the process of being installed that would take some of the length from the route coming from the north. And then we still have a plan coming off of the intersection of 950 West and 400 North coming that way, Cleveland. So on the third page, you'll see a map of option one. Basically, this would be a 16-inch water main just running south from the end point of Woodland Ridge all the way down to the intersection of 400 North. And this would be on 900 West. And then on the fourth page, you have option two, which is connecting to existing water main at 400 North, and that's Cleveland, or 950 West, and running down to the intersection of 400 North and 900 West, and then running north on 900 West to get to that 4208 property. So running from option one, it's 3,989 feet of a 16-inch water main. We do have to price it according to state law. We have to price it as maximum size we could do is 8-inch on this in this situation, and then we end up having to pay take on the cost of the upsizing of the water main. So there's going to be additional material costs plus some additional labor. So basically, there would be a potential of 56 customers, and we have that revenue refund thing that we have to do. So on this particular route, there's 56 potential customers. The cost of the 8-inch main material is estimated at $702,436. Revenue reduction would be $61,750, which left the developer responsibility of $640,686. If the department chose to upsize the main to 16-inch, which is what part of our long-term planning is to come south with a 16-inch main. Of course, the department would cover the cost of the labor as we usually do. And the upsize of the main would increase the materials to a cost of $1,049,356. So then the department's share of the materials would be $408,670, and the labor estimate was $315,907. So the department cost is estimated at $724,577, so about $725,000. And the developer, or the property owner, would be responsible for the $702,436. In option 2, the distance on that is a little bit shorter. It's 3,792 feet. Now the difference between when I get into this particular version, even though it's shorter, is a little more money, is because the previous option, option 1, crosses under the gas pipeline once, and that's very expensive. You're looking at about 100 feet of casing that we have to put in, and I'm estimating that around $1,000 a foot, so it's pretty expensive. Option 2, it has to go under that pipeline twice. The pipeline runs at a diagonal from northeast to southwest across that corner. So we'd have to go under that pipeline twice with this option. Basically, the purpose revenue reduction requirement would have 61 potential customers. The cost of the 8-inch main material is estimated on this one at $812,927. The revenue reduction is about $67,263, leaving the developer responsibility of $745,664. And then if we upgrade the water main from 8-inch to the 20-inch and 16-inch that's in our long-term planning, the department share of materials, the material cost would go up to $1,290,901. The department share would be $545,237, and the labor on that is about $315,525. So a department cost of $860,762. An advantage to this route is, we're going to have to cross the pipeline twice, but we're doing it sooner than later. In the future, it'll be more expensive, obviously, as inflation goes. And then there does appear to be a stronger opportunity for commercial development along County Road 400 North than along County Road 900 West. County Road 900 West will probably be residential, and that's as it develops over time. So my thought process in this is, even though option 2 is about 19% more expensive, I think the benefit for getting across the pipelines, and also there's a possibility that the county will be involved in paying for this, and this also will be more beneficial towards the county as well, because they might have better opportunity of getting further commercial development along that route. And so my recommendation is to go ahead and do that. I was using a format from the previous version, and there were 3 options at that time. The third option was to not upsize the water main. I went ahead and dropped that option, so really there's only 3 options. I have this last one not listed as option 4, that we could opt not to provide an estimate. That's always a possibility. So
Who's the developer you'll be quoting this to?
This will be actually quoted to the county.
The county?
Yeah. The county economic development is pushing this. So,
Do those offices at 400 North and 900
Right.
Cancer Treatment Center and,
Yeah.
yeah,
do they have, well,
yes, they have wells.
so they would be potential customers as well, correct?
Right.
Even further down?
Further down,
Mhm.
that would require some main extensions, but
Okay.
yes, that would be the,
And the houses on the south side of 400 North as well?
they could get water, yeah, the water mains across the front edge of their property. as
Did
well.
you say you would cross that pipeline twice?
For option 2, yes. The
Where?
pipeline,
Where? I see it here, right?
that's
Let me
not the
see.
pipeline.
Where, what is that?
That is a ditch, according to the GIS.
Usually you can see the
So the
pipeline,
pipeline,
right? Like the aerial, usually you can see it.
yeah, in this particular case, because this farm field is constantly worked,
Mm-hmm,
you can't really see it as easily.
okay.
But if you look at the Franciscan property,
Yep,
if you notice their parking lot kind of runs at an angle in the
Mhm.
northwest quadrant of their parking lot.
okay,
That pipeline runs parallel to that diagonal on the parking lot.
like in here?
Yeah,
So that's your
that's the
twice.
two crossings.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
And you go under,
Yeah. Yeah, most likely they're only about 4 feet deep, and we need to be deeper than that. So, most 99% of the time when we cross pipelines, we're under them.
well, I'm all for more customers. That's what we're
Yeah.
here for, so that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And if you're for option 2, then I support that. That's me.
Oh, I support option 2.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
Davis, how do you feel?
I feel it's perfectly wonderful to have more money coming in.
Did you say though that up here, because this is where that new subdivision's going, correct?
Right, but it's north of where the red line starts.
Mm-hmm.
So everything south of that red line.
Up here, kind of.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the land that's due north of where that red line starts,
Mm-hmm,
to the east
mm-hmm,
is the Woodland Ridge
Yes.
future phases.
mm-hmm,
So that's there. So that's where the 16-inch main will end
mm.
for that Woodland Ridge project. And then we would have to extend south from that point all the way down to 400.
Okay. Either one of you?
Time to make a motion for
Yeah.
option 2?
Sure.
I make a motion for option 2.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we allow the superintendent to quote the main extension as discussed using option 2. Any additional discussion?
You said this would be quoted to the county?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
There you go. Exciting.
Right.
Very exciting.
A lot.
Under old business, I don't really have anything at this point in time for our old business.
Any new business?
Under new business, I just wanted to bring the board's awareness that we will be soon having a meeting of the pension committee. The pension committee is officially myself, the board attorney, the board president, and the board secretary. We'll be discussing, we would have to approve the addendum that had to be written. If you remember back when we did our contract with the union, we agreed to allow the pension percentage that's used for calculation to be increased as long as the pension's healthy and over 100% funded. And so that has to be put into a formal addendum. And so the pension committee has to formally meet and vote on it. And then there's also a situation for our former distribution foreman. When he passed away, there's some issues with regard to how the pension payout will occur for his daughter. And so there's an option we're looking at, and right now Barry's looking at it to find out what our options are, to see how we can best, how the pension can best provide for Tim's daughter in this situation. So.
Wow.
Any idea when that'll be?
Not yet. Barry's got the paperwork, and he's got to take a good look at it, but it'll probably be in the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to let you know, and then we'll schedule a date where we'll probably meet over at Barry's office and go through it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, any public comment? Any comments from the directors? That'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second it.
We're adjourned.